We have some new information from social media, and I want to get this across that we've read this online that there was the main tower in Bridge City for the power lines. It may be it may be one of these two towers that came down, or both that came down, and it has to do with this article right here. The city of New Orleans gets a big upgrade. So the issue is here is that there was a power plant in the city of New Orleans, and in 2014, Entergy decided to decommission its Michoud power station in New Orleans, and because they had to upgrade two transmission lines fed from Entergy's Ninemile generating plant. So we're looking right now at where these lines come in across the river in Jefferson Parish, Louisiana. And these are the towers here, and I just want to show you. This is where a good chunk of the power for New Orleans comes in. It comes in over the river on these very high towers into these substations, and then goes on to these power lines here into the city. All right. These power lines actually transmit the power into New Orleans. I know it looks very, archaic, and this is actually new. This is actually these are old towers. They were upgraded with new insulators, but they're old towers, and they couldn't withstand the storm. So these towers here, I'll look at them. There's one right there coming into this. So there's actually two substations here that these towers come into. There's the other one. And you can see they come into this substation, and these wires are exposed to extremely high winds on these towers. Kind of reminds me of the Linden tie a little bit, which was a problem that contributed to the, it didn't help the blackout in 1977 in New York City. But this is Ninemile Point on this side. So the line crosses the river right here from Ninemile Point, goes into these two substations. So you have one substation over here, and then, or is it just one substation or two? I think there's two. All right, there's one. The one line goes into this substation. You can see the circuit right here, and then the other one goes into another substation. Actually, I think this just is connected to this substation. So if we go over here, this is one hell of a structure. It just goes, it gets routed, I guess, underground, I guess. Does it get routed underground, or does it, we have a line over here. So I think it comes off this. It comes off that. Is that a bird's nest in there? Oh my God, they got bird's nests in these towers. That's not good. This is a blackout just waiting to happen here. I mean, looking at this infrastructure here. And these metal lattice towers, they probably collapsed in the high winds. And so once these two lines went down, it caused a contingency. Well, actually, it's actually two double circuits. So they said 8, so if they lost all 8, I'm wondering if these are the main transmission lines coming to New Orleans, because let's see, you have 1, 2, well, no, you have 4. So you have 1, 2, all right, 1, 2. That's 2 circuits right there, a double circuit, and then the other one is also a double circuit. So you have 2 on this and then 2 on the other, so that's 4. And these 2 went down, and then maybe it caused a contingency that caused the others to trip out. But these go across the river. You could kind of see the towers here, and horse farm there, I guess. But they go across the river to Ninemile Point. All right, because they decided to close the power plant in New Orleans and instead move the power from this power plant over here, this is the power plant right here, where it's being produced on this side. So this is Ninemile Point. All right. So what wound up happening was either one or both of these towers collapsed, This power plant now has nothing, no load on the other end, so it's going to go into an emergency shutdown. And then that caused a contingency on the other two remaining lines that tripped out as well. Maybe they were already damaged prior to the storm, but the infrastructure here is just not very good. Considering this is hurricane, I mean, I've seen FPL's infrastructure, and it's a lot better than this. This is pretty bad infrastructure. It's not strong enough to withstand these type of storm at all. And so then those lines go into the city of New Orleans down here, and then go and they terminate at a substation by the Superdome, which to find the Superdome here. This is it right here. So there's a substation around here. Let's see if we can find it. Is that it? No, that's not. That's a parking lot. But there is a substation around here where they terminate. You can probably find it by looking from the highway. We can. You got to get up high though to see it. But there's a line that goes by the Superdome. So on one of these. So this whole area has no power. The whole city has no power because this transmission line failed. And oh look, there's Entergy right there. So I'm just trying to give you an idea as to what caused this to happen, how it could have been prevented, I guess. They say that there's a substation around the Superdome, but I don't see it. It is a little further. The substation's a little more over here. Go over here, you can see where the power lines are. There you go. These were upgraded too. All right. And again, this design, I don't know if it's strong enough to with. And again, the problem is you have these tall buildings around, so there are numerous failures that could have occurred. All right, you had the towers collapsing, but then you could have debris coming off these buildings, blowing into these phases and causing them to trip out, crossing the phases, which will cause a fault in the substation. Could rip a wire off an insulator. This is just, for a city the size of New Orleans, this power grid is woefully inadequate. And I mean, you'd think they would have learned it after Katrina, that they needed to do better with the power grid, and they didn't. And we were already here before, because these power lines actually go to where that power plant used to be, and that's that other area. All right, so you see the power lines going that way. So this substation right here, there used to be a power plant here. I'm guessing this is it right here. This old building, yeah. This was decommissioned. This was a power plant for New Orleans, and did not have a power plant in the city to generate power if the power from the grid goes down. They're learning that's quite a mistake, as you see here. So this is a very, very bad situation for New Orleans to not have power in the aftermath of such a massive storm. And look at the rust on these poles. Man, I mean, we have similar style poles on Long Island. These remind me of what these poles remind me of? The poles that are along the Huntington line. Yeah, they really do remind me of that. These are probably 138 kilovolt. They really do remind me of those lines. But this is hurricane center. You need strong stuff like FPL has. They have very strong. These poles are not thick enough to withstand. Even though they're steel, they're not thick enough to withstand it. But they really do remind me of the poles that you get along the LIRR. Let me go to Huntington, New York. You'll see what I mean. And then I'm going to wrap this video up, because I do like talking about power grids. It is interesting. So let's go to the Huntington line now. We'll see what these poles remind you of. You'll see. You should see them here. Yep. Similar style. But these are in better shape. These are ours, and you can see they're a little thicker. Theirs are thin. But it's still a similar style that you have this style here. However, ours do look better than theirs do. At least ours are painted and not covered in rust. But it just goes to show you the neglect of the power grid in New Orleans. And if you think the power grid is neglected on Long Island, well, it's worse in New Orleans. Now, what is this guy doing? I think he's just, well, this isn't a very good neighborhood. But still, and why is there no fence along these tracks? But, all right, I'm getting completely off topic here. So I just wanted to show you why the power grid in New Orleans has failed and why they didn't learn their lesson the last time, which is extremely frustrating, of course, to say the least. City the size of New Orleans and their power lines, their transmission system actually looks a lot weaker than ours, which shouldn't be because they get much worse hurricanes there. So that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching.